everybody. Hey. Oh, my family's joining right away. Awesome. Hi, honey. Hey, Britt. Hi, Rhonda. Gosh, good to see you. Hey, Matt Yonker. Hopefully I'll see you soon in real life since you're here in Dallas. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me in my Periscope tonight. I've been looking forward to seeing you. Had a long day of travel. Now I'm finally home in my bedroom. Hi, Troy boy. I'm back from Baltimore. It was a great day in Baltimore yesterday, so it's good to be with y'all today. Periscoping tonight. I have just finished a parenting series, the ABCs, the absolute basic criteria for raising the next generation. And you can check that out on my website, TrinaTitusLozano.com. Hey, hi Cecily, there you are. Great to see you. I couldn't start without you, girl. Just couldn't do it. Coming from California, that's awesome. Hello to you and your precious ones out there. And I'm so excited that the Lord provided you a way to go visit your family. That's awesome. We've been having a great time on vacation with our family, and I think everybody needs to do that. Hey, Brooke. Hi. Glad that my family's periscoping with me tonight. For those of you who don't know me, I am Trina Titus Lozano, and I'm a counselor, and I'm an ordained Christian minister, and I love giving y'all some advice that is biblical and can make a big difference in your life and can make a big difference in your relationships with your kids and with everybody. So again, thanks for inviting followers and telling people about Periscope. I've really enjoyed being with you guys for the past 3 weeks, and I'm going to continue to broadcast live twice a day at noon and 9 Central Standard Time. And when I get through with the ABCs, which I'm done with, now I'm starting with the 1, 2, 3s. So just started a series a few days ago with the 1, 2, 3s, the top 10 commandments that God gave us. And he did this for a reason. So these are the top 10 things that really need to be at the forefront of our mind, just in our day-to-day lives, okay? So these, the 10 commandments, are things that we don't just want to observe because it's, you know, written on the walls of important buildings or things like that. We want to observe them in our everyday life in a really practical way, okay? So the 10 commandments, these are rules to live by. I used to always tell my kids, we don't really have house rules beyond the 10 commandments, but these 10 things are such a big deal. We got to have these memorized. We got to memorize, teach this to our kids so that they have them memorized. And this is the basics, okay? This is the basics of right living, of righteousness. And, you know, I know that you guys want what is in your own best interest, okay? And so that's why it's important to think about the 10 commandments, because these are all in your best interest whenever you live a life that is based on a foundation of this, okay? So we are now at number 5. We're moving through this pretty quickly because I know that you guys don't need a whole lot of explanation of what the 10 commandments are, but I just want to move with you through these so that we can remember them and we can think about them and they can be fresh in our mind and fresh in our heart, okay? So tonight we're on number 5. 5, okay? So everybody give me a high five for the number 5, all right? Hey, Tracy, we do need reminders. And, you know, it's because we get so busy with life that we forget about the basics. And so we do need the reminders. All right, double 5, hey. But anyway, okay, so number 5. And I already talked about a little bit when I did the letter H in our ABC series. Number 5 is the very first commandment with a promise, okay? And that is to honor your father and mother. Okay, so I get a question in my counseling office a lot. How do I honor my father and mother if they are not honorable people? And unfortunately, the world that we live in today, that's not uncommon. I have a lot of clients with serious issues from really, really wounded childhoods. And I feel badly for them, and I feel badly about that. But as I'm introducing them to Jesus Christ, we come with a new set of understandings that God's going to keep his promises, and he's going to do his part as we do our part. And honoring the 10 commandments and being obedient to the 10 commandments, and especially number 5 about honoring our father and mother, isn't as much about our father and mother and if they deserve to be honored or not. It's my part. That's right, Brooke. So it's a position that we take, and it's a very powerful position. We take the position of honor. Even if they're not honorable, even if they're not respectable, we can find something to honor, okay? Some reason that we can show respect, because honor is about value. It's about understanding that just because they gave us life, at the very least, they have value for that, okay? Or even, and for those of you who are adopted, your adoptive parents are going to be honored. Your biological parents, you may or may not know, but in your mind, I want you to honor them, okay? So that you don't ever have to be disappointed about your circumstance or who God gave you as parents, because when you choose to honor them, my choice, it doesn't mean there aren't boundaries. Right. Boundaries are important, especially if there's, parents that need to have boundaries, because if your parents are sucking the life out of you, that's not good. So you want to draw a boundary there. But it doesn't change the fact that I don't want you to talk badly about your parents. I don't want you to be critical about your parents. I don't want you to be negative about your parents as you're teaching your children about their grandparents. If you've drawn a boundary and they don't know their grandparents, or they're never going to know them very well, it's going to be a limited relationship with boundaries. At the very least, you will find something to give them value, some reason to honor them, some reason to respect them. That's what honor means, to show respect, to treat with value, to give credit. Okay, so here's the 5th commandment, and I'm reading out of Exodus. Honor your father and mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God has given you. And then in another translation, this is my Bible. Don't know if y'all have your Bibles there handy, but I'll just read it for you. Honor your father and mother, then you will live a long, full life in the land the Lord your God is giving you. A long, full life. Who doesn't want to live a long, full life? Why do you honor your father and mother? It's in your own best interest, right? And you're living a long, full life. Plus the fact that then as you honor your father and mother, you're teaching your children to honor their father and mother, and then so on and so forth, right, Cecily? That's exactly true. I grew up watching my grandmother honor her parents, my great-grandparents, meaning she showed them, she spent time with them. She would go on her lunch hour over there to their house, and she would fix them lunch or sit down and eat lunch with them. She would pray with them. She would honor them by helping with them with chores. And then when they got older, she honored them by taking care of them. And they moved into her home. My grandmother moved into her home after my grandfather passed away. So she and her sister took care of my grandmother, and she didn't have to be cared for by anyone else, because they honored her by caring for her. Sometimes people have to have additional care, but it's great if you can honor your elderly parents by caring for them in your own home. It's a beautiful thing. And if there's any way possible that you can do that, that shows honor to them. My husband's mother, she can take care of herself, but he shows honor to her by visiting her often, by eating meals with her, by taking her to the grocery store, by giving her a ride to church. This is all about showing honor to her. He shows honor to her, of course, on Mother's Day, but not just on Mother's Day. Every day, every week, every month, we're constantly showing honor to our parents. I show honor to my parents by spending time with them, by paying attention to what they're doing in their jobs and in their careers, okay? So when I'm paying attention to them, when I'm supporting them, when I am uplifting them and giving them value and encouraging them, that shows them honor. So that's great for them. And then also the benefit is it'll help my days be longer, okay? And I'm also honoring my grandmother by having her live in my home and giving her rides places, taking her to get her hair done, taking her to buy groceries, whatever. Half the time she's in California with the other half of the family. But when she's here, we honor her by caring for her, by spending time with her, by having conversations with her, okay? Yes, you need help with this, okay? Well, you know what? If you need to draw a boundary, I don't want you to feel guilty about that, okay? Because that's okay too. But I just want you to know that as you find something good about your parents, just the smallest little thing, and you give honor to them, it is just a way that you can show respect and obedience to the Lord, because that's a commandment that he's given you to keep your heart pure, okay? So I know it's not easy, and we can all be critical of our parents, okay? It's not that hard to be critical. It's pretty easy to see their shortcomings, okay? But to call, yes, sure, you can call. It doesn't have to be that often, you know? It can be weekly. It can even be every couple of weeks, but just to sort of keep in touch, it shows them honor. But you know, if they're negative people and they're not people that are good for you, if it's not a healthy relationship, then you know, you can just leave a message, or you can just write a note so you don't give them an opportunity to dishonor you as you're honoring them, okay? I want you to honor them. And if for some reason that's a toxic relationship, then you can honor them while you have a boundary, okay? So you love them and you pray for them. You could just write them a note, Cecily. You can just, you know, things like that, so that you're showing them honor without them being intrusive or interrupting in your life, because that's so important. So I want you guys to know that. So honoring your parents has nothing to do with them being invasive in your life, okay? You don't have to take all their advice. You don't have to be closely connected to them. In fact, the Bible talks clearly about when you get married, it's important to leave and cleave. But honoring your parents is different. It's an attitude. It's an attitude of considering their value and not being critical of them. And as you do that, and you choose to do that with your vocabulary and with your heart, there's the promise. It will go well with you. Okay, y'all? If anyone is having specific questions about this, I see Cecily keeps asking a few questions. It is hard. I am blessed. It's easy for me because my parents are honorable. They are respectable. And so it's easy. Hopefully it's going to be easy for my kids, and they'll have an easy time honoring me and respecting me. That's the kind of life I want to live. I want to be honorable and I want to be respectable. And I want you guys to be too as parents. But whether that is the case or not, this is about an attitude. This is about being obedient to the Lord. He put this commandment here for a reason. It's the beginning of the next section of commandments, which is talking about our relationships with others. So the first few commandments are talking about our relationship to God, okay, the first three. And then this is a transition talking about our relationship with others. And if we think about it, as we're honoring our father and mother, it also helps us to keep in mind the first three commandments, and as we transition to this honoring our father and mother commandment, it helps us also remember that our Heavenly Father, our God, is also our Heavenly Father. So that helps with the transition too. So this is a mentality, this is an understanding, this is an attitude, and it's a vocabulary. Even the smallest things, like I had a couple right now trying to choose if they wanted to buy a new TV or not, okay? So, you know, if you have differences of opinion, but it's not a financial thing, sometimes you can go with whatever the person wants because you're honoring them, okay? So there's all kinds of opportunities to honor people, and whenever you choose their way over your way, you can even use the words, I want to honor you by fixing your favorite meal for dinner. I want to honor you by buying the TV that you want. I want to honor you by spending time with you, or whatever it might be, by serving you, okay? So as we honor our parents, and we begin to learn how to honor one another, that transitions us into the next few commandments. Now, I know these commandments are not that difficult to understand. I know that it's pretty easy. It's plain English for sure if you're reading it in English or whatever language you're reading it in. It's not that difficult to understand, but it's not necessarily easy to apply to your life. And for some reason, we're constantly giving ourselves permission and making excuses to not do what the Ten Commandments says to do, okay? So no more excuses, y'all. Honor your father and mother, okay? Honor your father and mother. No more excuses. Doesn't mean you have to obey them anymore if they're adults and if you're adults, okay? But you need to honor them, okay? No more excuses, honor them. And remember, you're going to teach your children to honor you as well, like I talked about with H's for honor. Husbands, as you're honoring your wives, and wives, as you are honoring your husbands, and parents, as you are honoring your parents, and the grandparents of your children, this is going to be a beautiful thing because they will have an understanding and you will have an understanding of the promises that go along with that. So learn this, teach it to your kids, implement into your life, y'all. No more excuses, okay? The fifth commandment, whoop. Honor your father and mother, okay? And it'll go well with you. All right, y'all. I will be back tomorrow. We're going to quickly finish our series, our 10 Commandments series, because then I'm going to get right started on a whole new section of periscoping, and I'm super excited. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's a secret for now, but I am inspired. So y'all stick with me twice a day at noon and 9, and if you can't be here, then catch the replay, or else go to my website, TrinaTitusLozano.com, because I'm having a good time just doing life with y'all and periscoping twice a day. High five, Tracy. Love you, girl. Bye, y'all. Thanks for periscoping tonight. Good night.